Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka. You missed my behind the scenes dancing. I don't know what it is. Whenever I hear any of my theme songs, I just start dancing. Like I just have to do a happy dance at that exact moment. So, what I'd like to do is we're going to have a conversation today, you and me. That's just talking, a little something, something. And today let me change this because it's not three. We moved it back to five. For a moment, I was like, oh, I don't know if I have three. I have five. So I moved it to three. Then I got it back to five. So plot out 5 ways to deal with blocks in therapy. Yes, we are going to talk about strategies to help you move through if you feel like your therapy isn't progressing like you want, or even your mental health treatment at all. I mean, overall. So I want you to have the tools if you just feel like things aren't quite going the way you hoped. Because I so often get asked the question, like, well, what do I do if it's just not working? Or what do I do if it doesn't feel right, or if I'm not getting the results I want. So I wanted to talk about some things to do because there's a flip to this question, which is a little bit of a longer discussion. I'm not going to have you in here all day on that, which is how do I know if it's working? So all of these work together and give you the answer to how to be better, do better, and live better and get to that better life that I talked to you a lot about how psychotherapy and seeing mental health care professionals can be a really great strategy or tool to help you get to that better life. So as you come in, I need you to do me a couple of favors. One is if you know someone that needs a share, if you know someone that needs this, you can also tag. And the last thing is if you're watching it later, don't worry about it. Just put hashtag replay in the comments and let me know that you were here. I am your host. If you don't know me, this is Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka. This is where I show up every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern to chat with you a little bit. And I am Dr. Ericka. If you don't know me, I'm a double board certified Harvard trained psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I'm so passionate about helping you be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry program, my books, including Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy, my speaking, and my podcast, Better with Dr. Ericka. I do all this to help busy people who show up for work, and you show up for your family, you show up for your friends, you show up for everybody but you. I do this to help put you back in your life. So I guess we could go ahead and get to it. As you come in, just give me a hello. Let me know where you are watching from. So you ready? Should we do this? I think we're ready. So you might be like, why are we even talking about this? Well, a couple of reasons. One is because it's Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And I realize that there are some cultural disconnects at time when it comes with people seeing people that are in underrepresented minority groups. So that can be a disconnect. The next is sometimes people don't really know what to expect. And sometimes, even as a psychiatrist, it's not always clear that people don't know what to expect. So you try to tell them what's going to happen, but sometimes I feel like people don't have enough clarity and may not realize to ask for that clarity. And just as in regular life, have you ever had a conversation with someone and in your mind you had this, one of my good friends is good for this. In her mind, she's had this whole conversation with you and doesn't realize she never told you what she was thinking. And sometimes in these treatment relationships, it can happen that in your mind you think the other person knows what's going on. You think your therapist knows what you're thinking, and they may not. So I want to make sure that we close this gap so that, number one, I want you to have a safe experience. I want you to have a satisfying one, and I want you to have one that works. So there are times where there are multiple strategies that can help you get through these blocks, which also give you other alternatives, because some people feel like if I'm not immediately better, then this isn't for me, or then I need someone new. And the one thing I don't want to see happen is sometimes it isn't a good fit. And sometimes the issue is actually something that hasn't been communicated clearly. And I just want to make sure that you get the best opportunity out of every space that you go in. So the first thing you can do is revisit and clarify your goals. because a lot of people enter treatment, and until you do it, you may not quite understand what you feel like your goals are. So the first thing that may help you get through these periods is clarifying as much as you can with yourself, but also you need to have this conversation with who you're seeing around what your goals are, what you want to get out of the experience. Because it may be that there need to be some changes of approach, or even some more discussion, or for your therapist to tell you more about what's going on, or more details about the plan for you to have more clarity around it. So sometimes it's just a communication that didn't happen that will give you the clarity to understand what the path is and to feel comfortable. So one is clarifying your goals, because the other thing is for a lot of these treatments, there can be multiple goals. If you have one as a priority and you're looking for that one, and the person treating you is looking at another one as a priority, then how each of you are measuring success may be different. The other thing with it is also having these conversations, because sometimes people that have not done this before or haven't gotten a significant amount of improvement may not realize the time it takes to actually get better. This isn't a situation like having a cold or a rash that you have one visit and everything is better. So having discussions around this so that you can have realistic expectations, because sometimes it's not an issue that you're not progressing. Sometimes someone's not progressing as fast as they want, but how fast they want to progress is something that just may not be possible. The next is number 2, discuss if something is making you feel uncomfortable. One of the most important things in therapy is for you to have a safe space. So being able to have a conversation if there's something making you feel uncomfortable. And this isn't for a case of if someone is just blatantly racist or horribly disparaging and inappropriate. Those kinds of situations, all bets are off. You may just need to go somewhere else. But this is just a situation if you're not quite sure if they hear you, or maybe you have some trauma issues with men and your therapist is male, or there's some other kind of transference. But just let them know. Or if you feel like they're rushing, or you feel that you just don't quite feel comfortable in the space, but communicating what you're feeling and how you're uncomfortable, or if you just feel like you can't open up, so that your therapist can work with you to see if there is a remedy to help you actually feel comfortable enough to feel vulnerable enough to be able to really do the work. But there are times where people don't tell you what they're thinking, and it's something that has a simple remedy or fix. So one thing you're going to see is the theme of this is if you see something, say something. It's having conversations around the situation to get further clarity. Number 3 is tell your therapist that what your concern or feeling is about not progressing. This is extremely important because there are times where, as a patient, your expectations may be one thing. As a professional, their expectations of fast things move or something else, or what you're looking for as progress may be different. So sometimes there are times where I've had it happen to me before where patients felt like they weren't progressing. But when we had a conversation with them, I was able to tell them how they had, and they just didn't realize it because they were looking for something else. So there are times where you may feel like you're not progressing, and your mental health care professional may be able to see how you are. The next is if you feel like you're not progressing or that you're stuck, it's important to have that conversation, because then it may be a situation to reassess what the goals are and how to get there, or if there need to be some treatment modifications in the plan. But to actually say that, because a lot of times, especially because we're dealing with humans and the human mind, that the tolerance for sometimes things taking time may be higher for us as mental health professionals as it may be for you. So it's important for you to discuss this. And there may be a time where you feel like it's not progressing, they feel like it's not progressing, you need to have a conversation together anyway. But the main thing is you need to communicate that you're concerned or feel that you're not progressing, so that either the plan itself can be adjusted, or sometimes it just needs to be more clarity with the plan. Because the other thing, and just like it's kind of like in school when your teacher asks you to show your work, And there are times where in your head you did all these things. Is there are times that sometimes the person you're working with may have thought they fully explained something and kind of worked through 5 steps in their head to get to this step and didn't tell you all the steps and thoughts they had in between, so that you ended up lacking clarity. So the main thing is I need you to speak up and let them know your concern so that it can actually be addressed. Number 4 is, ask about your treatment plan. Is all of these things are going to be related to treatment planning. So you want to be able to, ask, what is the plan? What are we doing? What's the timeline? So that you all can have a collaborative discussion around the plan, expectations, what you're looking to do, how you're looking to do it, so that you have more clarity. Because sometimes it's a matter of the plan needs to be adjusted. Sometimes it's a matter of you need clarity on the plan. And there may be things in the plan the person didn't even discuss with you, because in their mind, they've kind of jumped 5 steps ahead. So actually asking about your plan, because the other thing is every once in a while you're going to catch someone that didn't have a plan. And that may be one of the reasons you feel like you're not progressing or there's a problem. So also having that conversation gets you more clarity of what the direction your mental health care professional is going. Them have clarity on where you want to be, and to get clarity of if the plan they have is something that makes sense for you or feels comfortable for you. Last, number 5 is don't give up on mental health treatment. Every once in a while, there are many times I look at finding therapists and psychiatrists, and psychiatrists can be therapists too. So please remember that psychiatrists can be therapists too. Is that sometimes when people, it's like dating. Sometimes people are decent people, but they just aren't the person for you. So there are going to be some times where it's not a good fit and you have to get someone else, and that's fine. Or times where your needs shift and they shift to something that person doesn't specialize, and that's okay too. But don't give up on mental health treatment and therapy just because everything didn't go exactly right that time. So that's it. So thanks for all for coming in. Again, if you know someone that needs this, please tag them. If you know someone that needs this, please share. And the last is, if you're watching it later, put hashtag replay in the comments. Just let me know you showed up. We're going to do a quick rundown, get you out of here. So we're talking about 5 ways to deal with blocks in therapy. So we're talking about how to deal with those challenges when you feel like your therapy isn't progressing the way you want. Because one of the issues that happens sometimes is sometimes there are simple fixes. And without some of these conversations or addressing it, you end up starting over when you didn't need to start over and losing time. So I want you to be able to have the tools you need if it's just a situation where there just needs to be more clarity or some shifts in your plan. So number 1 is, revisit and clarify your goals. You want to make sure that the person you're working with has a very clear idea of what your goals are. Number 2, that you all have the same goals. And number 3, that even sometimes what happens is as you start doing the work, because if you haven't been in therapy before, your goal may be just to feel better. And as you start it, you may start getting a better idea of what feel better looks like. And I want you to be able to have a conversation with that so that the person can meet your expectations, so they have a clear idea of what you're looking for. And this also gives a chance for you all to make sure that the goals you all are working to are the same. Number 2 was discuss if something makes you feel comfortable, because therapy requires you to be vulnerable and for the space to feel safe to have these conversations, because sometimes it may be something the person's doing. Sometimes people are traumatized and they have a hard time feeling like things are safe, no matter who it is. But just talking about having conversations and working through what may be keeping you from feeling either safe, comfortable, or that you can be vulnerable enough to do the work. Number 3 is tell the therapist that you have a concern about not progressing or feeling like you're blocked. Don't assume that people automatically know this is how you're feeling. So I want you to be able to have a conversation with it and tell them that that's how you feel, because you may be able to work out a solution. Number 4 is ask about your treatment plan. Have some conversations around what the goals are, what the plan is, how you're getting there, time course, what expectations are. That can often give a lot of clarity that will let you know if this person may be a good fit, or if they have the skill set to do what you need them to do, if you all can work collaboratively towards these plans, and if there's something else getting in the way, and what that is. Number 5 is just don't give up. Every once in a while, you may have to switch because it's not a good fit. But what I'm trying to prevent people from doing is sometimes there's a level of other things going on that have simple solutions that can be had with conversations to keep you from just jumping from therapist to therapist or having to start all over telling your story and doing all of that all over again when you don't have to. So that's what I'm giving you today, some ways to move past some of those blocks and give you some tools and strategies. I hope it was helpful. I'm so excited to have you here. Again, thanks for coming. You know, this is Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka. It comes on Tuesdays at 7, so you can always find me here. I also have a few things to share for you. Number 1 is, you know my podcast, Better with Dr. Ericka. It comes out on Tuesdays. Also, typically, I have a new episode that came out today, and we talked about vulnerability, hope, and better mental health with Javon Wooden. So I hope you check it out. It released today. You can find it as below on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, all those places, or you can go to betterthepodcast.com. And guess what? When you see it, can you subscribe? Follow or subscribe. That would be great. That allows me to get even better content for you. If you could do that for me, I would feel all of the love. Hopefully you didn't see my chair moved. I don't know if you saw my chair moved. My chair moved. Is what it is. It is what it is. So that's where you find the podcast. And if you're in need of some quality mental health, and I do some therapy, and you are the person you are concerned about is 18 years or over, go to AskDrGoodwin.com, AskDrGoodwin.com for some additional information and to sign up for a complimentary 15-minute consultation for my practice. That's what I got for you today. I want to send a lot of love out, a lot of positive energy. There's so much going on in this world. I hope this is a safe place to land. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday. Take your left hand, put on your right arm, take your right hand, put on your left arm, and give yourself a big squeeze. You take care of yourself and have a great week.